Hey there, and welcome back to the In Focus podcast. I'm Gina, and if this is your first time here, you're in for a treat because today's episode is all about goal setting. This is my first episode after officially launching, and there's like some weird energy around it. Like, I'm super excited. It was very well received. So, thank you guys for the support. I'm really looking forward to just these future episodes that we have coming here. But today, let's not waste any time. We're talking about goal setting. We are talking about setting bigger picture and clearer pictures for us in our businesses. And we're not just talking goal setting in terms of writing goals down like as a list to check off. Think of this as more of an analysis of what you're doing now in your business and your life. And then we're going to take it a little bit step further and dive a little bit deeper. I have 6 questions today that are going to force you to pause and reflect and really dive into what you want from your business and your life. I know it feels like we're going really deep, and we kind of are, but this is like one of my favorite things to do ever. If you know me like on a personal level, you'll know that like this is something I'm super passionate about. I love a good like brainstorming and vision setting session. So buckle up, you guys. Okay, so as photographers, especially wedding photographers, for those of you out there, we're often running on all cylinders. We are busy editing, we're busy shooting, we're busy scheduling shooting, location scouting, emailing, managing like a million little things. It's easy to put goal setting on the back burner because, let's face it, we feel like we don't have enough time as is, let alone to set new goals for the future. I can't tell you how many wedding seasons passed that I've hit October or November and just completely burnt myself to the ground. There was a season that I photographed 33 weddings and it completely wrecked me creatively. I remember being headed into that year really excited about so many awesome weddings. Like, I kind of felt like I'd made it. I have like a fully booked calendar. Like, now I know that was like overly booked. But what I don't remember in that excitement phase was planning to be overworked and tired. I don't remember penciling in no time with my friends. And I do not remember saying, I can't wait to have absolutely zero time this summer to spend with my family at the lake. That year taught me a lot about boundaries and how if we don't set them, they don't exist. And when I did goal setting for the year after that, my biggest goal was to never feel that way again. But here's the thing, taking time to set intentional goals isn't about dreaming big. It's about giving yourself a path, so like a clear direction, and this helps you make better decisions, say yes to the right opportunities, and say no to the ones that just don't align. That's what today is all about, my friends. I'm going to walk you through 6 really powerful questions to help you analyze where you are right now, where you want to go, and how you're going to get there. I'm not going to give you the answers, though. I'm prompting you questions today. These are some deep thinking questions, and you're going to have to kind of dig within yourself to find those answers. So kind of sit with some of these things that you write down. It's a really great exercise. So again, today's kind of a clarity session. It's a really great session if you're feeling stuck anywhere or you have these big goals, but you're just not sure how to get there. This is just like one of those really deep thinking clarity sessions that I love these kind of things. So I want you to grab a notebook or your favorite note-taking app. Let's get to work. Okay, so before we fully dive into these 6 questions, let's zoom out for a moment to talk about why this all even matters. Because why would you waste your time listening to me yap into this microphone if it doesn't matter and it's not truly going to move the needle in your business? Okay, you've probably heard the saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. That is especially true in our industry where things can get chaotic fast. I want to share a quick story. Back in 2019, I was hustling hard, taking on any session that came my way, working late nights, saying yes to everything because I thought that's what you had to do to succeed. I thought being busy meant success. And while I was working hard, I wasn't working smart. I was exhausted, I was overwhelmed, and honestly, I was a little lost. And don't get me wrong, those weddings and all of the sessions that summer were obviously amazing. They were so much fun while I was in them. But I'm going to tell you right now that I had intentions of changing. I had intentions of not saying yes to everything. I'd tell myself that I wanted to become more balanced. I wanted to be more clear on my business. I literally remember saying to my husband that I just felt like I was a little mouse running on a wheel and never had time to dream bigger than the shoot that was right in front of me. It wasn't until I started setting clear, intentional goals that things really started to shift for me. I realized I didn't want to just be busy. I wanted to be productive. And I didn't want to say yes to every shoot. I wanted to work with clients who were aligned with my vision for my business. and I didn't want to stay where I was at. I wanted to grow. That's the power of goal setting. It gives you clarity, focus, and most importantly, a sense of control over your business. When we are setting goals, it's also worth noting that often, even if we don't say it out loud, they are set to align with what we believe is to be a more successful version of ourselves. You might not have taken the time to actually think about that version of you, but that vision of what that person is lies somewhere within you. Otherwise, trust me, you would have not started your own business, right? My friend Tammy recently said to a group of us, I hate that term, new year, new you. She said, the world doesn't need a new you. You are absolutely perfect the way you are. And I loved that. This version of ourselves that we picture isn't any different than the person that you are right now. Everything that you need is already within you. So it's getting clear today on what actions that we can take in our lives to better align with that version of success. So whatever that looks like for you. The first question today is all about analyzing big items. Let's start with the big one. Successful people ruthlessly analyze what's working and what's not. Imagine for a moment that you took over your life today as if it were someone else's. You're stepping into the role of CEO of your business and your life. What would you stop doing immediately? For example, maybe you're saying yes to low budget shoots because you're afraid of turning down work. Or maybe you're spending hours on tasks that you could be outsourcing, like editing or social media scheduling. I want you to look at the things in your life from a CEO perspective and immediately write down the things that you need to stop doing, like today. Don't be soft here. It's okay to recognize the things that, as a CEO, you'd realize are not serving your path. Now, on the flip side of this, what would you start doing? Maybe it's consistently posting on Instagram, networking with other vendors, or carving out time to improve your skill. Maybe it's taking days off or scheduling your weeks more intently. Maybe it's making time for the gym in your busy schedule, or maybe it's prepping meals so you can feel your best and have the energy to pour into your business the way a real CEO needs to. Make a list of things that upon taking over this life, you'd start doing now. And lastly, ask yourself, what is getting in the way? What is getting in the way of you stopping the items on that first list? Or starting the things on your second list? Is it fear, or is it procrastination, or is it just not having a clear plan? Is it time? How much time? Is it money? How much money? Identifying these roadblocks is the first step toward overcoming them. Okay, we're moving to question 2 now. This is all about energy systems. Your energy is one of your most important and finite resources in your business, especially small creative businesses. So nourishing it, protecting it, fostering it is so crucial. You'll never reach the top of the mountain unless you enjoy the climb. I want you to take a moment to reflect on the past year. What gave you energy? Maybe it was working with a specific type of client or at a certain location. Maybe it was collaborating on styled shoots or working with specific vendors. Maybe it was time outside of your business that gave you energy to pour into your business. I know for me personally, I get a lot of energy from the gym I'm a part of and the people there. There's loud music, there's high fives, there's endorphins pumping. And when I leave there, I literally dive into my work like an unstoppable force. Where in your life do you get that kind of energy that gives to you? Along these lines, we're going to ask ourselves, what drained us in this past year? Was it back-to-back edits with no breaks, or working with clients who didn't value your time? Was it not having time with your family and friends? Was it emails back and forth and back and forth? Was it the pressure of social media or the stress of posting? I think this one is really, really important. It's also kind of heavy, but identifying these things is the first step to removing them from your day-to-day. While I'm not saying you don't ever have to edit another photo again for this business, I am saying that identifying that is the first step to coming up with a way to make it less draining, whether that's editing in time blocks or outsourcing to an editor or dialing it in with AI to edit for you. Along the lines of this question, I want you to ask yourself what gave you meaning in this last year and what felt void. This is not just about business, it's about life too. What do you want to spend more time doing this next year? And what do you want to spend less time doing? Be brutally honest here. When we get to the end of the year and we have that feeling of burnout, it's usually because of these questions right here. The way we are spending our time isn't aligned with what gives us meaning. Okay, we're moving into question 3 now. And in question 3, we're going to talk action. Successful people don't wait around for things to happen. They make things happen. Where are you waiting around for someone else to make the first move? Maybe you're waiting for clients to inquire instead of proactively marketing your services. Or maybe you're hesitating to reach out to a dream vendor partner because you're afraid of rejection. Are you waiting for someone to show up and knock on your door to book you? Are you waiting for someone else to come and pull you to the gym or start future planning for your finances? Where are you letting yourself have the excuse that it's not on you, it's on them, when in reality, deep down, you know that you just need to make it happen? All right, question 4. The most successful people are always planting seeds for the future. So here's where we're going to talk about seed planting and kind of looking a little bit farther ahead. Let's flip the script from that last question about making things happen today and refocus on making things happen in the future. The most successful people are always planting seeds. I want you to ask yourself, what first move can you make this week that will make the next 3 months either easier or more successful? This can be super small actions like sending an email or planning a new offer or creating massive momentum in some way. It's not about getting it done necessarily, but it's about taking that step towards. It can be signing up for something. It can be sending that text or making that phone call that you know would help create that momentum and move that needle in your business. Now, we're going to think about the long game a little bit. What can you do this month to make the rest of your year easier? Maybe it's batching content for social media, creating templates for emails, or even organizing your workspace. Maybe it's sitting down once a week with your partner this month to get more aligned. Or maybe it's committing to a walk outside once a day. Okay, now I want you to think even bigger. What can you do this year to make next year easier? This might mean investing in education, revamping your website, building relationships that could lead to collaborations down the road, hiring a bookkeeper so next year's tax season isn't a complete crazy show. Remember, success is about the seeds that you plant today. Moving into question 5, we're going to look at your surroundings a little bit. You've probably heard the quote, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. This means that the people you closely associate with significantly influence your behavior, attitudes, and overall outlook on life, essentially shaping you to be similar of the average of those 5 people. I know if you're anything like me right now, you're like, okay, wait, who do I spend all of my time with? I'm like picturing them in my head, all 5 of them. And it gets really real for you. So literally picture them. The most successful people are conscious about who they spend their time with. I want you to ask yourself, who in your life lifts you up? Think about the last person who lifted you up when you were down. These people are so critical in our businesses and our lives. A lot of us are entrepreneurs. We don't have coworkers in it with us. So when something doesn't go as planned in our business, we're just sitting there staring in the mirror. Think about the last time something had you down in your business and it maybe sent you into a little bit of a downward spiral. You're not alone. This happens to everybody. Maybe you lost an inquiry. Maybe a shoot just didn't feel as good as you thought it was going to, or maybe you had an unhappy client. I want you to think about how you felt, and then I want you to think about who it was that brought you out of that funk, who lifted you back up. That person right there, you need to keep that person close. Here's another one. Who inspires you? Who do you see that makes you also want to reach higher? Who makes you want to do better? Who makes you want to accomplish more? That's another person to keep close. Additionally, who challenges you in a good way? There are people who challenge us in a way that makes us better. Often their root of challenging us is because they already see the potential and the good that we have to offer. They know your light and they want it to shine brighter. Do you have anyone in your life that challenges you in a good way like this? Keep that person close. Also, who makes you feel energized? A lot of these are not always people in our businesses, right? But it can be. Maybe it's certain clients that energize you, or maybe it's your kids, or maybe it's your best friend who just by being around her gives you energy. On the flip side of this, it's also important to make note of the people who bring you down or who drain your energy. Ask yourself if there's anyone in your close circle that does this. It's not always easy to set these boundaries, but being intentional about who you spend your time with can have a huge impact on your mindset and your success. It's also worth noting that this same concept could be applied to locations. So asking yourself where you were when you felt most inspired. Where are you normally when you feel most productive, most aligned with the future successful version of yourself? Maybe it's at your desk, or maybe it's at that co-working space that you get to go to once a month, or maybe it's on the road traveling. And on the flip side of that, where were you when you felt brought down, or maybe when you felt stuck or drained? Maybe that was at your desk, in which case let's plan to clean your desk or find a new working space. Maybe it was at your day job, and maybe it was traveling. Maybe traveling drains you. Taking inventory of what and who you're surrounding yourself with and how that affected you can make big strides towards these goals and this future successful version of yourself. Okay, our last question, and this one is about your day-to-day tasks. The most successful people are so clear on their goals that they implement small things every day that are in direct align with moving them closer towards those goals. So I want you to imagine that there is a film crew following you around, documenting your success. If that were the case, you would do everything right. Kind of like when they say be the movie star in your own movie. Let's lean into some big main character energy here, all right? I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing that you would want them to see? Like, what are you doing in your day-to-day from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed that you would want the film crew to be filming? Maybe it's delivering an amazing experience to your clients, or creating art you're proud of, or investing in yourself. Maybe it's your organization or your just overall balance. What areas of your day-to-day would you be proud of? Now, you knew I was going to make you go here, but what are the things that you're doing now that you would not want the film crew to see? What things are you doing in your life today that you wouldn't be proud of to have displayed in a documentary of your life? Maybe it's procrastinating or skipping your self-care or avoiding tasks that scare you. Maybe it's the complete lack of boundaries. We can start big picture like these, like lack of balance, or we can get really granular with these, like the chaos of my sock drawer or the inside of my car. The thing is, I'm asking you questions today that relate to business, but as the business owner, these also all relate to your life. That successful person that we talked about in the beginning is the version that we are striving to become in all aspects of life. If you're embarrassed to show the film crew the inside of your car, what does the inside of the car of that version of yourself you're dreaming of look like? This question is a powerful mirror. It shows you what habits you need to celebrate and what habits you need to change. All right, there we have it. 6 questions to help you reflect on this past year, refocus on what matters, and set yourself up for success in this year ahead. These questions are not just for the big picture stuff, they're for the daily habits and the decisions that shape your business and your life. Remember, goal setting is not about perfection, it's about progress. Even small steps forward can create massive momentum. So take the time to answer these questions, write them down, revisit them regularly. I love revisiting these questions all the time. I'm going to include a worksheet with this episode because I think it would be really powerful for some of you to really dig into this with it sitting in front of you. Maybe plan to grab a cup of coffee alone or sit down somewhere quiet and really just process through some of these and kind of get the ball rolling in your head about some changes that you might want to make to get closer to that successful version of yourself. You've got this, and I'm so excited to see what you accomplish this year. If this episode resonated with you at all, please share it with a friend or tag me on social media. As always, thank you for tuning into the InFocus podcast. Here's to setting some powerful goals and making this your best year yet.